Hello everybody, in today's video I will be talking about the Gans Air again. Now it's been a few days since I've had this and I have tried out every single one of these different types of springs. I also lubed it with the lubrical silk. Every time I did it I wiped out the lube and I redid the springs. I basically did it from stock and every time I use this, and I have to say this is a really good lubricant, so I do actually highly recommend lubrical silk. Alright, so right now I have the yellow springs in there. As you can see, we've got yellow springs. But I have tried out also, it came with the white. I did adjust the tensions and all that kind of stuff and lube it while the white was in there. And it wasn't really what I was into. I basically said that in my first impressions too, is that it just didn't move well for me. Then I tried the red ones, and the red ones really, again, it really depends on the tensions too, because I made different tensions for each of the springs. And I'll talk about tensioning this thing in a bit too, but yeah, the red one wasn't really working for me either. It almost felt like it was too loose, so I tightened it up, and then it was like kind of catchy a little bit, so I didn't really like that. And then I tried the orange ones, and the orange ones almost made it feel that's a difficult one to describe. It was, I don't know, almost like it was too fast. Like it may have been the way I lubed it, things like that. But so if you get the master version, you're definitely going to be experimenting for a while. Now this cube, in my opinion, is quite difficult to set up because of that. You've got so many different options, trying different springs with different tensions, lubing more or less. So it's a lot of taking the puzzle apart and putting it back together. So I guess that is one thing. If you really like to set up your puzzles, then you will love this, because this is sort of like a cube gear junkies, heaven. So I don't mind doing it, so it was fun, and it was also fun to experiment with it. But talking about the tensions on this thing, when you tension it, it's very difficult to gauge if they're all the same tension. Basically, the way that I did it, which worked, is you tension it until you can't go anymore, and then you count how many you go back, and you do that for every single side. Then it will be quite even. If you're trying to guess, you're probably not gonna, it's not gonna work out all too well for you, because you just don't know where you're going with it. But yeah, it's definitely a lot quieter as well now that I've lubed it and put these different springs in there. Super quiet puzzle, probably one of the quietest 3x3s I've ever tried. It moves way better than it did when I did my first impressions, and corner cutting is just like phenomenal. Like this thing is, wow, like I can't say any more about the corner cutting of this. This is, to me, the Weilong GTS is like the best corner cutting, and this is on par with that. So algorithms flow very nice with this. M slices are also very nice. Yeah, what else could I say about this? Yeah, I'm not getting any corner twists whatsoever. You can corner twist it, that's for sure. And also on the pamphlet, it says that it's impossible. Well, it doesn't say it's impossible, but it insinuates it. But obviously here you can. But I've never got one in a solve, so maybe that's what they're talking about there. And speaking of the pamphlet, this is what I did to it. I went and got it laminated. So yeah, you can see that it's all laminated. And it's actually kind of interesting because it was totally wrinkled and folded up, and when it's laminated, it takes all the wrinkles out. It's like a brand new piece of paper. But I got it laminated because it's got all the algorithms, although not all of them are very, are great, that's for sure. But if you're just learning F2L algorithms, OLL, and PLL, then this is awesome. So if you're kind of a newer cuber or intermediate or something, you don't know all your algorithms, and you happen to get this puzzle, this is a very good piece of paper. And it also tells you everything you need to know about setting this thing up, which is great because it is a very complicated setting up puzzle. But anyways, I just wanted to show you guys that. I thought it was cool, so I got it laminated. Alright guys, so again, after a few days of setting it up, and I do mean a few days of setting it up, spending a couple hours a night, going ahead and, putting it together and trying different things, I finally found my perfect tensions and lubricant and springs and all that kind of stuff. So I use the yellow springs, about a medium tension, and a very little amount of lube, because lubrical silk seems to go a long way. Anyways guys, let's show you some solves and talk about this thing a little bit more. So over the last few days, I have solved this puzzle quite a bit, because every time that I have to, put in new springs and lube it again, I'd have to solve it for a while so I can understand how it really reacts. And then adjust the tension and then solve it for a while, and then adjust the tension some more, solve it for a while. And then I'd change the springs and do that whole thing over again. So there was a lot of learning going on while I was putting this thing together. It was actually a really good learning experience, how different tensions, help me solve and why. But obviously I did settle on the yellow ones. They were the second ones that I tried. I think I did red first, then yellow, then orange, and then put the yellow back in. So even as it's set up right now, how it is my preferred setup, to me, it still feels it's almost like it's a slippery cube. Like, it doesn't have any friction. It's very quiet. There's not a lot of texture when you turn it. So, for instance, the opposite of that would be the very first Feng Shi Shuang Ren. That was a very sandpapery type of feel to it. Well, this one has nothing. It's almost like it's just gliding so fast. That no matter how I set it up, it still maintains that feel to it, and it just doesn't really work for me. I mean, it's not bad. I'm getting good times. I get my average with this puzzle, but it's the feeling. So it's a good puzzle, but the Weilong GTS is just, it feels right to me. You know what I mean? This one here, lots of it can completely keep up with that puzzle. So I'm very happy with this. If I didn't have another Weilong GTS, I would use this as my backup for sure. So this is my last solve, and then I'm going to show you two algorithms in slow motion. And I tried to also film corner cutting in slow motion. This thing corner cuts way too fast for that. My camera cannot keep up. Hopefully in the future. So we're doing the classic T-perm because that seems to be the only algorithm I know how to do on camera besides the next one. And what is this? What is about to happen? Dan did a 2-finger flick. Whoa, progress. Let's finish this up. All right, everybody. So yeah, this puzzle is not going to replace the Weilong GTS as my main. The Weilong GTS is a premium cubicle puzzle as well, and they've gone through and tested everything and came up with a final result, which is great. And they've done that with this puzzle as well, and I've got one on the way. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what they have done with this, and then I'll review that one as well. But as it stands, this is a very fun puzzle. You learn a lot about tensioning puzzles and lubing and stuff like that. So I really like the design of this puzzle. I like the way it moves, but it's just not going to be my main at this point. We'll see what happens when the Gans Premium shows up. But anyways, guys, if you'd like this, the link is at the top of the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on my next video.